Hey guys, what's up? I'm Rohit Khurana, host on Intellect Digest, and what we have here are two siblings from Samsung: the Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus, their latest flagship, and the Samsung Galaxy Note 8, not launched too long back. It is a 2017 flagship from Samsung, and this is the 2018 flagship. The Note 9 is due this year, but at present, these phones are in the market, and they are both in very competitive price range when it comes to competition with each other, not in absolute terms. They compete head on with each other in terms of price, and they have a lot of similarity. So in this video, we'll talk about what is the difference between these two and which one should you pick, which one is better for you. To get our full opinion, make sure you watch the entire video till the end. Let's get started. So there are a total of 13 differences, big and small, in all that I have been able to jot down, and these are from minor differences to major differences. So let's get started with the first one, which is the size. In terms of physical dimensions, if you want a compact phone, you can clearly see that the Note 8 is larger, it's taller, it's wider, and it's also heavier compared to the S9 Plus. To be precise, it is approximately 6 grams heavier. It is taller by around 4 millimeters. It is wider by around 1 millimeter and thicker by 0.1 millimeter. So thickness is almost the same, but in almost every other dimension, it is bigger, larger, taller, heavier. So it is the bigger of the two when it comes to size. So if you want compact phones, the S9 Plus should be your choice. Next thing, one major difference between these two is the S Pen stylus. There is definitely S Pen stylus with the Note 8, but there is no stylus with the S9 Plus. What benefit does the Note 8 stylus give you? The Note 8 stylus gives you some useful features like scribbling. If you are an artist and you like to draw a lot, or if you are someone, maybe an architect who needs to draw a lot, then the S Pen stylus makes a lot of sense for you. But if you are a regular user who does not use S Pen or does not require S Pen, it would hardly make a difference, and I have hardly taken it out while my usage of the Note 8 in past few months. So there has been only few occasions when I have used it, so I can definitely live without it if required. Moving on, the display size. They both use a Quad HD display, which is super high in terms of resolution, but the size of the display is slightly different. It is 6.2 inches on the S9 Plus and 6.3 inches on the Note 8, which gives it a slightly lesser pixel density compared to the S9 Plus. But in all practical terms, in all practical scenarios, you won't be able to differentiate them in terms of quality or in terms of richness. They are both excellent displays, and it would not be wrong to say that they are both equally good. Next thing is the LTE that they support. The category 16 LTE is supported on the Note 8, whereas the category 18 LTE is supported on the S9 Plus. Now, what does it mean for the end user? If you are using a super fast LTE network and it is supporting top of the line network, you can get up to 200 Mbps speed on this one, whereas this one supports up to 150 Mbps of speeds. So that is the difference. It may not be a deal breaker for most because we hardly get such good networks anyway, so you would never probably get these high speeds. Next up, cameras. Now this is where it gets interesting. Both have 12 megapixel dual camera setup. Both the cameras on both the phones are optically image stabilized. But one major difference in the S9 Plus camera is that this one supports variable aperture between f-stop 1.5 and f-stop 2.4, whereas this one has a fixed aperture f1.7 on the primary lens, and they both have similar camera setup. But if you are very fond of taking pictures, this may give you slightly better results, but for most regular users, you would hardly be able to tell the difference between the pictures taken by these two phones. Yes, they will be marginally better on the S9 Plus, but that is all. It is marginally better. It will not be a lot better. So you can't tell that this picture is way better than the other picture. They will both be very similar, with this phone performing slightly better in low light because it can go as low as f1.5, So in low light photography, yes, definitely this one will help, but you should not make your buying decision based on that, because it is not such a big deal unless you are a very deep photography enthusiast or a professional photographer who needs to use their phones for professional reasons. Then I would suggest picking the S9 Plus over the Note 8, or upgrading to S9 Plus over the Note 8. Moving on, the multimedia experience on the S9 Plus has gone a notch higher compared to the S8 and the Note 8. There is one speaker here, and the earpiece also doubles up as speaker. So it produces stereo effect, whereas this one does not. This one only has a bottom firing speaker and not the front earpiece. So you will get better audio on the S9 Plus. But is it a deal breaker? Maybe not, maybe yes. Depends on how much you use to watch videos on speaker mode rather than earphones. If you're using earphones, it doesn't make a difference. If you're watching video on speaker, it does make a difference. The volume is, say, 20% higher, louder and clearer. So it does make a difference, but it is not a world of difference. It is a slight difference, again a marginal difference, marginal improvement, I would say. Next thing that is slightly noticeable here is the battery life. On this phone S9 Plus, I can tell for sure that this will give you at least 10 to 15% better battery. And there are 2-3 different reasons for that. For starters, it has a 3500 mAh battery, whereas this one has a 3300. So roughly 10% more battery. Then it has a small compact size. Then it has a newer generation processor, which is newer compared to the Note 8 or S8 series. So, and also it has the better, newer Android pre-installed on it. So it gives it an advantage and gives an improved battery life, which I have noticed in last few days of my usage of the S9 Plus. So battery life, if it is your concern, the S9 Plus will give you better battery, at least 10 to 15%. But at the same time, the Note 8 battery is also not bad. You can easily go through one full day of usage. But if you are a very heavy user and battery life is a make or break decision for you, the Note 8 is not as impressive as the S9 Plus is. Moving on, performance. Both the phones are great when it comes to performance. There is Snapdragon 835 or Exynos 8895 on the Note 8, depending on the market where you buy it. Whereas the S9 Plus gets a newer Snapdragon 845 or 9810 Exynos. And in both the cases, the S9 Plus would be faster, slightly faster compared to the Note 8 or the S8 or the S8 Plus. So if performance is your concern, this will give you slightly better performance. But again, it will be an incremental difference and nothing like you will get twice the performance or something like that. It is probably 10-20% better at the max, and you would probably not notice the difference, because I've been using Note 8 for a few months, and past few days I've been using the S9 Plus, and I have not noticed the performance difference. They're practically alike when it comes to performance. For my kind of usage, I'm not a heavy gamer, so it doesn't matter to me anyway. But the apps opening, the application switching, the responsiveness of the phone is good on both, because the 835 is also a very fast processor and is way above my needs, my daily needs when it comes to processing. So I don't see a stutter or a slowdown anyway. Next up, there are few software features which are better on the S9 Plus. First one is the AR emoji. So you have the augmented reality emojis that you get on the S9 Plus. So these ones, you can create an emoji of yourself taking a picture, and then it creates this emoji. This feature is missing on the S8 and the Note 8 series. And one more feature is the super slow motion. Yes, you can record super slow motion on this phone, and it has 960 frames per second super slow motion feature that you don't get on the S8, because this one supports, the Note 8 supports 240 frames per second, but not the 960 frames per second. So you can record 240 frames per second at 1080p on this, and you can record 240 frames per second on 1080p, but at 720p you can go as high as 960p. So that is one software feature which is extra. Few more differences include that it gets Android Oreo right out of the box, whereas on this you will get it as a software update. It is not pre-installed. Another thing, convenience feature, is that the fingerprint scanner is very easily, conveniently located on the S9, S9 Plus, whereas on the Note 8, S8, it is awkwardly high next to the camera, and I have to reach out, I have to make an effort to use it. So much so that I haven't used, in fact, I haven't registered fingerprint on the Note 8 even in the months of usage. And the face unlock works practically seamless. As you can see, I'm using face unlock right now. It opens within a fraction of seconds. I just have to look at the phone. The face unlock also works on this one practically in the same way. It also has an iris scanner inbuilt. So both are quite good, but if you prefer using fingerprint, this is very useful, especially in dark at night when you just wake up and you want to check quick notifications. The face unlock may not work in a dark room, so the fingerprint scanner comes in handy. And the fact that this one also has one but it is not usable, this makes it so much better by putting it in a location that is way more usable. Next subtle difference is in the camera UI. So if you look closely, these cameras have different user interface. So here you can just swipe like this to change the modes, whereas on this one you can't do that. You have to swipe from this side and then change the mode. So this is the new user interface on the S9, S9 Plus, which is more user friendly. They both support similar gestures, like if you swipe down, it turns to selfie mode. If you swipe down again, it turns to the rear mode. And they are both excellent cameras in my opinion, and they are really, really good. Now the question, which one should you pick, the Note 8 or the S9 Plus? If you are getting them at similar price or at the same price, which one should be your choice? Now let me break it down for you. If you need an S Pen, if you are into creative profession, if you draw a lot, if you plan on using a pen-like functionality for note taking or for whatever reasons, the Note 8 makes perfect sense. If you're looking for a larger screen, Note 8 makes sense, but it is slightly marginal difference only. In all other ways, the S9 Plus is a better choice. It has a larger battery, it has compact design, it has better cameras, maybe slightly better, but it has better cameras, it has better performance, and it beats the Note 8 in most of the departments except for the S Pen utility that it cannot provide. It also gives you stereo speakers. So S9 Plus is definitely a better pick, but if you are an architect, graphic designer, someone who needs S Pen, then Note 8 should be your natural pick. I hope I helped you make up your mind between these two phones, and I highlighted the differences properly. If you enjoyed watching this video, give me a thumbs up. If you want to pick either of these phones, I'm leaving Best Buy links to both the phones in the description section below. Thanks a lot for watching. For more such videos, stay subscribed, press the bell icon for latest updates. This is all we have on this video. Stay subscribed. Thanks for watching. This is your host Rohit Khurana signing off. Thank you.